Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Family Care Nutrition webinar. Today's topic is on sweater weather. So be sure to stay until the very end, and we will have a promo code for $50 to use at the Family Care Nutrition webinar. And before we start, let me tell you a bit about our speaker today. Today's speaker is Elvis Ali. He is our resident nutritionist and educational advisor at Family Care Nutrition, one of the first full-time graduates of CCNM, and he is an author of several books and research papers. So I'll let Elvis take it away.
Thank you very much, Alvin. Well, today's topic, I'm very excited to talk about what exactly is sweater weather. Most of you have heard about spring, summer, autumn, winter, but I'll get into some definitions and then I'll go into what are the effects as our days get shorter and shorter and shorter as we get into October, November, and into the winter season. What effects does that have on our brain? And in fact, studies actually show it does have profound effects, things like gaining weight, mood changes. People get more tired, fatigued, lethargic. Even there's something called SAD, seasonal affective disorders, that affect many people during this time of sweater weather. And then we'll talk about supplements. How could we rectify some of these problems? Specifically, how do we help our immune system during these months? As well as how do we overcome fatigue and tiredness? And then we'll open it up for questions and answers. So let's begin with what exactly is the definition of sweater weather? Well, in a nutshell, it really occurs when the high temperatures, as we are so accustomed and love at the end of the summer and beginning in the fall, when the temperature actually decreases or goes below 50 degrees. So the definition of the true sweater weather is actually, it's the fall throughout the winter and into the spring. You find all these different types of changes in the seasons, but it's actually the fall entering into winter. If you do experience like I have, just go out in sweater weather. You could breathe in that brisk, sometimes people say the crispy air that you have in the morning walks. Then you definitely know as this temperature starts to drop, you actually have to put on your sweaters to keep a little bit more warmer during the sweater weather season before winter. I also like to say that it's very important, stay active. Why stay active? We must keep staying active because I believe, and for my over 4 decades of being helping a lot of people adjust to different types of seasons, it's very important that staying active should be all year round, not just 2 months, not just 3 months over the summer. It should be 12 months a year. And I know the key to staying active helps with people happen to be more happy. And as they decrease their exercise during the colder season, they're not as happy. So there is a correlation with seasonal affective disorders. There is a correlation that people don't feel that drive to get out and the coldness approaching us in the later months of the year. So as we embark into the sweater season, it should not be a cover-up, as I say, to ignore healthy habits. Because if we don't, we're going to gain weight, and we can use our sweaters to hide the weight below when we put them on in the sweater weather seasons. But you must stick, I believe, to your daily healthy lifestyle routines and also maintain, which is very important during this sweater weather, to be very positive. Very key important things to stay active. So let's get into, as the days get shorter and shorter, otherwise known as sometimes the darker season, how does that actually affect our brain? Well, cooling off season, as we say, during the sweater weather, the nighttime arrives earlier. And also we find a drop in temperature. So we get a little bit colder. In fact, studies do show, and if you listen to the news media and radio stations, they do say as the clock falls backward, there is more accidents, higher statistical correlation with the shorter weather, with the shorter season, shorter days, that we do have problems with motor vehicle accidents. So attention should be always be focused to make sure you adjust even before, and you make sure that you are in a position where you get and embrace the darker seasons. So attention naturally shifts for all of us. And with less exposure to light, we find that less natural light comes absolutely with shorter days. So with less access to natural light, your brain actually sends signals to your body to conserve energy. It begins to slow down your metabolism. It actually increases your hunger. So when darkness decreases your level of what we call that fancy buzzword we call serotonin, this hormone, and actually also dopamine in the brain, this leads to what we call emotional shifts and sadly, even depression. So limited light exposure can impact a part of our brain called the hypothalamus. And this part of your brain is actually responsible for sleep and our circadian rhythm. So this decreases what? It decreases alertness. It also decreases our overall cognitive function. And this hormone, when we think about how we limit the amounts of levels of serotonin and dopamine, the hormone also melatonin, which helps to regulate the circadian rhythm, is also produced in the darkness when we have dim light conditions. So it's important to understand during the darker seasons, people with SAD, seasonal affective disorders, may experience decreased energy levels, may have disruption of how we sleep. Our sleep patterns are actually disturbed. We may have trouble also maybe focusing. And if you have overeating habits, it may be attributed to the lack of amount of daylight time. So if you notice any of these persistent symptoms, it's very important to be proactive, and please seek any help with any healthcare practitioner before things get to a stage where it becomes problematic. So how do we adapt? Well, as I had mentioned before, whether we have the shorter days, we call it the less light, daylight. So it's important to do many things. First and foremost, exercise. Why? Because when we exercise, we release something called endorphins. This is the thing, I'm sure many of you who have run or who have been active, you get that runner's high. This is because of the release of endorphins. So it's very important, number one, to exercise. And why do we exercise also? Not only to release endorphins that make us happy, it also activates metabolic activity. So as you all know, during the sweater weather season, we may have low metabolic activity rate. So it's important to make sure that you exercise to increase and maintain your metabolism. It also helps to boost your mood. More endorphins, happier we are. And in fact, studies do show that it is great when we exercise. It combats depression and also anxiety. Besides exercise, how else can we adapt with the shorter days? Absolutely diet. Our daily diet lifestyle is very important, because when the body is tired, as all of us have been at one time in our life, we get this crave for maybe carbs, we call it carbohydrates, which is high in sugar, because the body wants to get that quick burst of energy. So it's important to understand how we adapt is you really have to really continue and maintain a good dietary lifestyle. So be proactive, eat more nutrient-rich foods, and especially last but not least is to make sure don't eat after 6 or 7 p.m. Because when you eat and you go to sleep, your body will not metabolize and will not digest all the food. So people end up disrupting their sleep and also waking up, feeling tired and lethargic. So let's get into how can we strengthen our immune system? We know that sweater weather entails many problems, gaining weight, being more tired, being fatigued. But what about the immune system? The immune system, if we don't eat well and we stop exercising, especially when the winter people don't want to go out, it's very cold, and the sweater weather, as we embrace ourselves for the winter season, we're not as active. We don't like to go out, and that will definitely tax your immune system. So we also know that during the flu season, when it reaches its peak, and especially as we enter into the fall, we have to be ready and apply countermeasures. So the immune system, as we all know, must be kept in excellent condition. So the foods that you eat should be rich in vitamins, rich in nutrients, not processed, not fast foods. It should be actually fresh fruits and vegetables. Sleep also is very important for strengthening your immune system. So sleep is especially important since this is the actual time that when we actually regenerate and prepares the body for working a full and healthy day. So by maintaining a normal sleep cycle, which is approximately, people say 7 hours, 8 hours, but it's usually for each individual, they know what's best for them. But this is very important. Normal sleep for 7 to 8 hours is excellent and contributes to a very strong immune system. On the other hand, if you don't get enough sleep, that absolutely increases stress levels that will make you and actually be more susceptible to getting all kinds of diseases. So what are the natural supplements that we can take and embrace and be proactive during sweater weather seasons? Vitamin C and D, cordyceps, B propolis, immune all, immune pro, and iron tonic. I will just briefly go over each and every one of these products, and then you could see which one would be more suitable for you. Be it one, you could use a combination of two or maybe three. Let's start off first with, and we know a lot about in the news media, there's a lot of research by Dr. Linus Pauling, who advocated a lot of supplements, most specifically how vitamin C is very important for helping and decreasing stress, enhancing the immune system, and resiliency for our capillaries, which increases blood flow. So there's a product with Maple Life Nutrition. We talk about the EV Empower C. This is an effervescent C, very delicious taste. It could be added to any beverage. And when you take this, we really recommend that people take things in the morning. This is when you want to start to boost, get your mind alert, getting active. Along with vitamin D, we also see that with the C in the combination, both C and D are very important. Vitamin D is actually one thing I would like to say, people are more cognizant about vegan. So this source of Maple Life vitamin is a vegan source from lichen. It's organic and it's not synthetic. So when you take natural supplements, the body can absorb, digest, and assimilate very quickly. So vitamin C and vitamin D are very important. Also, there's a combination when we think about Empower C, B vitamins, minerals, lipoic acid. This combination found in the Empower C has the synergistic, what we say, the synergistic blend that could work on all functions of every organ to enhance and support the immune system. And very important to understand, do not start when sweater weather begins. Start about 2 weeks, maybe a month before sweater weather. So you get being proactive and the body gets adjusted to enhance the immune system. I also want to say vitamin D lots of studies about it that it's called the sunshine vitamin, very good to boost the immune system. Moving to something called cordyceps and bee propolis. What is cordyceps? Well, there's a lot of research now that's been shown that mushrooms, in fact, coming out from Asia, there are evidence-based medicine talking about the research on how mushrooms have been studied for immune enhancing, even in some cancer research, that cordyceps actually works by increasing something called ATP, otherwise known as adenosine triphosphate. Very important for every cell in our body that has a mitochondria to increase energy. Cordyceps and bee propolis work synergistically to enhance that energy, to alleviate that fatigue and lethargy that people undergo when they enter sweater weather season. Also, in traditional Chinese medicine, cordyceps is used for tonifying the lung. That means strengthen the lungs, the kidneys, and it's also used to get rid of phlegm. A lot of mucus that when people actually get into the colder season, you always have, when you go out, the runny nose. But some people who have problems with certain respiratory illnesses and the development of mucus, cordyceps is great to dissolve the phlegm. And this phlegm is actually a mucus that usually plugs up our lungs and our nose. Bee propolis, on the other hand, is also important. It contains this bioflavonoid called polyphenols. Bee propolis has been around for decades and decades and decades. Why it's great, like cordyceps, to help during the sweater weather season? Bee propolis actually helps to relieve that sore throat, or in fact, any other mouth and throat infections. Why? Because bee propolis has properties that are antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, and it also has anti-inflammatory properties. So these products are excellent before and even during the sweater weather season to embrace and enhance your immune system. There's a product called Immune All, and this product, it in a nutshell, it actually helps maintain a healthy immune system. So like the previous two products I mentioned, this one also is a combination. There's an herb called ashwagandha. There's a Chinese herb called astragalus. There's the reishi mushroom. And absolutely, in most of products that you see to enhance the immune system, ginseng. All these four products are great. We call it for anti-stress product because it causes less anxiety, less depression, and also an anti-inflammatory. Why? Because Immune All has antibacterial properties. And this, as the other two I mentioned before products, it helps to stimulate the immune system. So an excellent product also to consider during the sweater weather season to alleviate complications of the immune system. There's also something called Immune Pro, liquid format, easy to take, easy to absorb, digest. This is a combination of vitamin C, vitamin D3, and also zinc, a trace mineral that's very important during the immune system boosting. You find trace minerals are very important, but it also has herbs. It has American ginseng, it has elderberry and ginger. As most of you have probably tried, if you ever had a sore throat, taken something like elderberry and ginger, whether it be it for coughs or sore throat or buildup of mucus in the throat, this is excellent to dispel and dissolve the buildup of phlegm, otherwise known as mucus. And there are many, many, many studies that have been shown, even just with ginger, it helps to relieve things like inflammation of the bronchial tubes called bronchitis. It also is very great for any types of coughs as well as colds, especially during the colder seasons. So Immune Pro is a combination of vitamins, minerals, and herbs. Last but not least is what we call the vegan iron tonic. This is very great, as I said, as a liquid format, easy to absorb. And iron, as I'd mentioned in previous webinars, is very crucial. In fact, it's essential in the blood cells, especially for the delivery of oxygen. A term usually you'll probably see is anemia. Besides fatigue and tiredness, iron combined with B12 in the vegan iron tonic and folic acid specifically was chosen, these ingredients, because it helps with fatigue, and otherwise known as people would present something called anemia. And that you could get diagnosis by going to see your healthcare practitioner. You'll check for your iron levels. So this product actually helps with prevention of iron deficiency. It's very crucial to form good RBC, red blood cells. And with the combination of vitamin C, it also helps with the absorption of iron. So these are products that when you're going through the sweater weather seasons, it's important to understand, be proactive. If you don't exercise, if you don't eat well, you're going to gain weight. Your immune system would be stressed. You will be more prone to anxiety, depression, weight gain, seasonal affective disorders leading to depression. So it's very important to understand that a combination of things are very important. So that is my talk on the topic sweater weather. I'm hoping that you have a little bit more understanding of what it is, how you could be proactive, and it's not a cover-up. Many people think by putting on a sweater, during the sweater weather, we can hide those bulges, around the waist. But you have to, as I said earlier, it's an all year around event about your health. You have to not take 8 months and then slack off, as we say, over 4 months during the winter, the sweater weather as we approach the fall, into the winter. It should be all year round that we are enhancing our immune system and taking products that will work synergistically with our body to enhance our immune system and to give us more energy throughout 12 months, not just 8 months, 9 months, but all year round. Okay, I will pass it over to Elvin. Thank you very much. And we'll take it from here now, Elvin.
Thank you, Elvis. So we are open to question and answers. Feel free to unmute your mic and ask Elvis, or you can type in chat and I will read it to Elvis for you. Thank you so much.
And like I said, not one product may work for everyone. Just
okay,
to
so
Yep.
sorry about that, Elvis. But Christina does ask, first of all, she says, great info. There are so many different products. How do we know which one to take?
Okay. From my experience, I will tell you that there's lots of products that you will see that you could use to enhance immunity. For me, if people are being proactive, studies have shown vitamin C and vitamin D are great for prevention. But as people get more prone and more susceptible to more problems, and they have more mucus, and they may have developed like a cold, be it from a virus, it's important to understand vitamin C and vitamin D are great for prevention. But when you look at other products, for example, the immune oil, the herb from India, ashwagandha, medical studies have been done to show that ashwagandha, as well as other studies from Asian, the astragalus and reishi mushroom, they have more of an impact because they are antibacterial properties and also helps immunol for less anxiety and depression. Another product we discussed, Immune Pro. If you don't have stress, you don't have depression, let's say maybe you have bronchitis, so you have coughs and colds. This product, vitamin C, D3 and zinc with ginseng, elderberry, and ginger would be more suitable for coughs, more sore throat, and in cases of bronchitis. So as you can see, it's specific to certain conditions that people present. I also talked about a protocol. I wanted to add in vegan iron tonic because when we're talking about sweater weather, I included this product because some people get fatigued and they get tired. They may not be diagnosed as being anemic, but I wanted to emphasize that the combination of iron, B12, and folic acid, if you are fatigued and you are tired, because let's face it, who wants to go out when the weather is colder as opposed to when it's in the summer? So when people are tired, hey, guess what? By taking a combination of vitamin C and iron, that can increase and form our red blood cells that boost oxygenation throughout the body to give us more energy. But like I said, it depends on what you are focusing on. And absolutely, if you're depressed and tired, why not take something like the vegan iron tonic? You can combine it with the Immunol, or you can take vegan iron tonic with the Immune Pro. So that's in a nutshell the combination that, not one may fit for everybody, but you may use a combination. Thank you, Christina, for your question.
Wendy asks, which is better, supplements or real food, and why?
I will say from my over 40 years of research, food by far and above is my number one choice. Unfortunately, because of processing, because of transportation of foods, by the time the food gets to our table, the nutrients that have been what we call many when our grandparents were eaten and our great grandparents and those before, our nutrients was very filled with soil, rich in minerals. Unfortunately, because of processing, packaging, transportation, I say try your best. But when I told people to eat organic, 12 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables, it was very difficult. And I attested that also too. So I would say that a combination, food would be my first choice. But let's face it, today we could impact one orange is only about 50 milligrams of vitamin C. So I really advocate that taking something like Empower C, when you look at 1,000 milligrams, which is 1 gram, it's very convenient to take a combination of supplements. So in today's day and age with all the stress and people are very busy, the hustle and bustle, the pandemic, they may not have a chance to eat 3 square meals, get all the nutrients, get servings of 8 to 12 fruits and vegetables every day. Just take a supplement. That's, the most I could tell you about insurance that people have. Supplements can be a great way to enhance and prevent a lot of problems. And studies, tens of thousands of studies on vitamin D, vitamin C, herbal remedies are now being shown and investigated. Hey, they could prevent, and they may not cure everything, but what a great way to have insurance by taking supplementation besides food. But I will go with food first, but unfortunately, I must say you need to supplement, and you need to supplement on a regular basis, not 1 month or 2 months of the year when it's really the sweater weather season or we're approaching the winter season. You could take vitamin C and vitamin E all year round. Thank you.
So Holly asks, great topic. When is the next webinar and what's the topic? So I can actually answer this one. Our next webinar is scheduled for December the 1st, 2021, 11 a.m. Eastern Time Zone. And the topic we will cover is how to manage diabetes the holistic way. Thank you, Holly.
Excellent. Thank you, Alvin.
Okay, so we are reaching the 3 o'clock mark. So I will show the promo code for today. Today's promo code is sweater weather, and it's $50 off at familycarenutrition.com. And this is our gift to you as our participants for today's webinar. So be sure to tune in, like I said, next in December 1st, 2021, 11 a.m. Eastern Time Zone, on how to manage diabetes the holistic way. We look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thank you, Elvis, and thank you, everyone.
You're welcome, Alvin. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.